Hello, namasaya Osei Inok Abuaje dengan NPM 201 72. Saya mau mempresentasikan tentang topologi jaringan yang saya buat untuk kampus Universitas Internasional Batam. Jadi ini topologinya. Di sini saya berikan warna. Ada kuning, ada biru, sea blue dan ini apa? Hijau ya. Oke. Dan ada 5 switch. Ada 5 switch, satu router dan 16 PC. Oke. Jadi di sini ini network 1. Network 1 is yellow, the blue is network 2, sea blue is network 3 atau ya VLAN-nya, and the green or hijau is the network 4. Jadi ini VLAN 10 with this IP 192.168.10.0/24, and the VLAN ID is 10 and the name is staff. So I made it staff, dosen, student, dan guest. Semuanya dengan IP. IP-nya they are having mask of 24. Jadi this is the campus of UIB. We have Gedung A, Gedung B, Sport Hall, dan Asrama. Okay, so that is the overview of the jaringan. The next thing is that I am going to talk about cost efficiency, high availability, IP dan VLAN, dan teknologi baru yang saya udah menggunakan untuk jaringan ini. Okay, so our first start with the cost. Jadi to reduce the cost or to make it cost efficient, I used VLAN. With VLAN, you can use one switch to make a lot of VLANs, and the maximum number of VLAN that you can make is 4094. 4094 maximum VLAN can be made with one switch. So meaning that dengan VLAN, it can reduce the cost because you are not going to buy a lot of hardware and cables than configuration. Yeah, it will reduce the cost with the use of VLAN. Lalu high availability. Untuk jaringan menjadi available, or to increase the availability of jaringan, there should be broadcast isolation atau isolasi broadcast, policy implementation, dan fault isolation atau isolasi gangguan, fault. Dan VLAN menyediakan semuanya. VLAN menyediakan broadcast isolation, policy implementation, and fault isolation. So this network that I have designed, the availability is very high by the use of VLANs. And using the VLAN, there is something we called 802.1Q atau .1Q. Itu type atau jenis trunk. So in this VLAN, I use trunks like in between the device, like from this switch to this switch and between the switches, because they are not endpoint devices. They are not endpoint devices. So I have to use trunk. So from this switch to this switch, trunk, dan lalu ke router juga trunk. Nanti saya akan show semuanya. Okay, so with the use of .1Q, it makes the jaringan simple. So it increases simplicity, compatibility, dan efficiency. Okay. Lalu ada teknologi baru. Di sini teknologi baru yang saya menggunakan adalah .1Q. Itu teknologi yang baru. Sebelumnya ada jenis yang beda, jenis trunk yang beda. Itu namanya interswitch link. Itu yang lama. Dan teknologi baru atau jenis trunk baru yang saya menggunakan adalah .1Q. Okay, so I want to show the first the VLANs that I have made. So I will come here. Enable show VLAN, and then you can see all the VLAN. So this is a VLAN 10, 20, 30, 40. VLAN 10 with the name staff, 20 docent, 30 students, then 40 guests. So this VLAN can they are all in the, I made them in all the switches. Here we have them, here we have them here too, and all the switches. Okay, and you can see their color. So this one, if the computers are 4, the PCs are 4. This one is VLAN 10, VLAN 20, 30, dan 40, and they have different colors. Okay. I want to show again. Enable show interfaces trunk. Show interfaces trunk, and you can see from port 2 to port 4, they are all trunking. You can see from here, trunking. And the VLANs, we have the default VLAN. We have itu VLAN 1, itu default. Dan saya udah buat itu yang 10, 20, 30, dan 40. So they are the VLANs. Lalu, I want to come here. Show run config. Okay, so here you can see there is another technology called encapsulation. So you can see here Vlan 10 is encapsulated, Vlan 20, Vlan 30, Vlan 40, they are all having that with their IP addresses. So Vlan 10, the default gateway is 192.168.10.1. Vlan 20, default gateway 192.168.20.1. Vlan 30, 30.1. Vlan 40, 40.1. That's the IP address I gave to them. So how can we see that this network is working? So okay, so I want to send packet from this PC, and this PC is in network 4 atau network 4 atau VLAN 40 to the same VLAN 40 yang sama, network yang sama. And you can see successful. Okay, let's check yang beda. Ini kadang-kadang maybe the laptop is chapped, so sometimes it should fail, but it is not a problem. Itu juga successful, so yang beda juga successful. Okay, dan saya mau pin dari ini PC 15 ke PC kosong, PC kosong. From this end to this end. So come here. So you can see I've already done that. Pin, I want to pin again. So. So I want to pin this PC. You can see it is also successful. I can pin. Okay, so this is the network I have made for the whole campus of UIB. And you can see I use VLAN to reduce the cost, that is cost efficient. And I also use VLAN trunking encapsulation DOT1Q for availability. So it has high availability. And the technology value is DOT1Q. Okay. Terima kasih.